Now, when this vehicle was originally searched on April 4th, 2019, the driver's side seatbelt was removed. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Was the area of the driver's seatbelt sprayed with Blue Star?
Yes, it was.
If we move to State's Exhibit 845, can we see any areas of indication or luminescence on State's Exhibit 845?
It's very difficult, but there is a little bit of spot on the seat, and then, as we previously talked about, on the door frame where the main driver's door meets that third door back there.
And if we move to State's Exhibit 846, can we see those areas somewhat better?
Yes. So again, we have the door frame here, and then now we can see on the side of the seat where we have near the seat belt that was removed previously, as well as the side of the seat here.
Blood evidence. Blood evidence. Jurors love it. Blood, DNA. Prosecutors in this case need it. Remember, this is the case where we don't know why. There is no motive. I don't understand it. You're talking about a chiropractor in a small town committing quadruple murder. That's what prosecutors are saying. Chad Isaak, of course, saying he's not guilty. But today, prosecutors putting in those pieces that they really need to tie the defendant to the crime, to the victims. Blood evidence. Take a look.
Human blood again on the driver's side door jamb of Chad Isaak's vehicle, is that right?
I believe it was presumptively positive for human blood.
And from that human blood, we know that there's more than one contributor.
That's correct.
And you made a connection between the question profile and Robert Fackler, that he could not be excluded?
Yes, from the major profile, correct.
And based on your statistical analysis, you would not expect that profile that correlates with Robert Fackler to occur more than once in the world population?
Yes, among unrelated individuals, that's correct.
And you also cannot exclude Lois Cobb or Chad Isaak from that profile?
That is correct.
Okay, how persuasive is this evidence going to be? How strong is it? Let's bring in Court TV legal correspondent Chanley Painter joining us tonight from Mandan, North Dakota. Chanley, let me ask you, has this been the best day so far for prosecutors in connecting the defendant to the victims?
Oh, absolutely, Vinny. 100%. They were able to do so on 2 of those DNA swabs. They learned it late this afternoon before the defense has a chance to cross this DNA expert. So that's what the jury left tonight with, the impression that on the driver's side door, there is a mixture of blood in Chad Isaak's Ford F-150 they recovered at his home. Now, this mixture is victim of Robert Fackler's blood and Lois Cobb's blood. They could not be excluded from that DNA swab, and it's a chance of 1 in 482 billion. That's the likelihood of that one. They were also able to tie the victim's blood to a plastic latch from the truck door also in his Ford F-150. So again, this jury connecting to his Ford that he owned, that he drove, but also DNA of the victims found in the RJR work truck that was stolen, of course, from the crime scene that the Cobbs drove to work that day. Of course, the victim's blood found in several locations inside that truck as well, but that's a key connection for the prosecution here. In Chad Isaak's truck, they have the victim's DNA.
Okay, Chanley, so what is the defense comeback to this? Do we know how they're going to explain this, minimize it, and try to deal with it in front of this jury?
They're certainly going to try to minimize this. This is a mixture of a DNA profile that has a major contributor, a minor mixture contributor. So they're going to try to attack the likelihood that it's not a strong sample, something like that. But there's a lot of items, Vinny, that exclude Chad Isaak altogether. I mean, they tested a ton of items the jury heard about all day long today. None of it has to do with the defendant, Chad Isaak. So likely on the cross-examination tomorrow, they'll try to bicker with some of the lingo with the expert about the match, but also all the items that don't show Chad Isaak's DNA or none of the victims on anything in his house, including all the items seized from Chad Isaak's home. No human blood found on any of the items. All those items that the jury witnessed that look like what the suspect wore to the crime scene, the knife, the handgun parts, all of that. So I think that's what we're going to hear tomorrow.
Okay, but he did do a little bit of laundry, didn't he, Chad Isaak? There were some items that were in the laundry,
He did
maybe
indeed.
soaking in a little bit of bleach even though they're blacks in
He did.
colors, which you're not supposed to put in bleach. You're supposed to bleach your whites. That's what I was taught.
Exactly. So again, even the knife was laundered in the found in the washing machine. And again, the testimony these jurors have heard, not only were these clothes washed and dried, including shoes, but also testimonies the house was virtually bathed in bleach, Vinny. It reeked of bleach and chlorine when they entered the home. And so that's going to be the reason why the prosecutors say, look, no blood, no DNA is found on any of these items. And also another finding, the fingernail clippings of Chad Isaak. No DNA found underneath his fingernail clippings but his own. So I'm sure the prosecution and the defense will say, well, but he wore gloves allegedly during the crime. So that explains that away.
Okay, and I just want to make sure it's clear. I just want to cover everything here, Chanley. You said the smell of chlorine. Chiropractors, I know, can do very well. He does not have an indoor pool.
He does not. He does not. His property that he rented, managed by RJR, did not include a pool.
Okay. All right. Let's bring in the think tank. Chanley, I'm going to check back with you in just a second. Still with us, Casey Early, Michael Bixon, Jennifer Brandt. Jurors love this type of evidence, Casey. Can the defense minimize it, or is the jury looking at, oh, okay, they put the little luminol on there, they found a little blood on his truck. Why would all these people's DNA be on his truck?
I'm just getting over the laundry portion. I mean, I've done a lot of laundry in my day. I mean, you have a knife in the washing machine. You kind of have to explain that away, right? So what is the defense going to say? And then he took the shoelaces out of the shoes, the gun in the freezer. They have a lot of explaining to do. So how do you overcome all of that evidence? Although there was no DNA tying Mr. Isaak to the RJR, certainly his actions or the evidence that was found in his home will point him towards that. So the defense has their work cut out for sure.
All right, let's take a listen to the guy from Joe Arends from BCI, who did part of the search and tells us what was significant inside the home of Chad Isaak.
Let's move on to the residence next. What stood out to you personally about the search at the defendant's residence?
When we entered, we began the search. I detected the odor of bleach inside the residence. As agents searched, they located numerous items that were very interesting to me, including camouflage, an orange reversible face mask, an orange hoodie, black pants, black shoes, located a knife in the washing machine, not the dishwasher, the clothes washing machine, located gun parts in a plastic container in the freezer, located 9 shell casings in a sock in a closet.
All right, Jennifer Brandt, multiple choice. Which is more interesting, a knife in the washing machine, gun parts in the freezer, or shell casings in the socks?
Well, they're all pretty fascinating, Vinny, but I have a big question here. Why did he do it? They haven't said that. There's no motive, and I think that's a big, big problem for the prosecution, because jurors want to know, what was the issue? What was wrong? You're pointing the finger at this guy, and yes, I have to agree, there's a lot of suspicious things going on here, but why did he do it? Why would he just kill these 4 people? That's the big question in my mind.
Yeah, I would focus on why are there 9 shell casings in the socks, Michael Bixon.
I mean, hey, it's not a good look, and I've certainly seen Stranger Things, but there are a lot of different moving parts to this case that make you sort of want to scratch your head. You know, the disassembled gun in the freezer missing, I believe it was the barrel and the cylinder chamber. You know, like you said, the shell casings in a sock, the knife in a washing machine. I mean, at least you're scratching your head unless you're thinking, well, yeah, he's trying to get rid of evidence. I mean, the method by which he was doing it is certainly questionable. I've never heard of a gun in the freezer or a knife in a washing machine. But, you know, when you hear about all this other stuff like the bleach and things like that, it really makes you start thinking, yeah, of course, this guy's trying to hide the evidence.
Yeah. And really some bizarre stuff. I want to bring back in Chanley Painter. Chanley, because, you know, maybe there is, you know, when you try to figure out why, I think this guy's a little different than the rest of them. And one thing that really struck me, and I don't know what the deal is with it, but all those shoes He had all these identical pairs of shoes that we found. And I'm guilty. Like, if I find a good pair of shoes that I really like that are comfortable, I'll buy 2 or 3 pairs of them. But he had like 16 pairs of these shoes.
He did, but Vinny, you wear stylish shoes. So that's a difference. But here, these black Avia sneakers, 16 pair found in his chiropractic office, similar, according to the footprint expert, to the print found at the crime scene in the pair of shoes seized out of his dryer at his home, Vinny. But today, we noticed something striking inside the courtroom. For the first time, watching Chad Isaak walk in and out of the courtroom, the shoes he's wearing in court today, and maybe even days previous, reminded me of those shoes that we see in the chiropractic office. Black tennis shoes he's wearing inside the courtroom. Now, these have shoelaces, but they look so similar. It was a reminder of the evidence in this case, and the jury in this courtroom, Vinny, have a straight shot directly in front of them. That's the defendant. They can see what he's wearing, all of his mannerisms, and those shoes. So every time they look over there at him, I'm thinking about the black shoes, those 16 pairs found in his office, the ones from his dryer, and that shoe print.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Chanley Painter in North Dakota. She'll be there again tomorrow. Another big day, the cross-examination of some of these witnesses and experts, and we'll see where the defense goes as the prosecution continues building their case. Chanley, thank you so much. Still ahead.